Hi, this is Sam at Rick Jones Pianos, and this is a Yamaha model W102 upright. It's a full-size upright built in Hamamatsu, Japan in 1983. And, well, the W in the model number indicates that it's part of the W series, which all had a special wood grain furniture style. The majority of what we get is more of a contemporary Scandinavian style with right angles, very clean lines, very elegant, and while this one isn't 100% perfect, we'll try to clean it up before delivery. This is a attractive piece of more contemporary furniture, but not in a polished ebony. This is a satin walnut finish. So the other big attractive feature about this piano is this music desk, which is considerably larger than what you would find in a Yamaha U3, which is the same size as this, 52 inches tall. On the majority of Yamaha and Kawai uprights, the music desk, the little thing that holds your sheet music, is a little piece of wood that folds down from the key cover or the fall board. That often frustrates a lot of people, especially who are used to a grand piano where the music desk is more elevated and there's more space to put music, and most importantly, it's a single board of wood that can allow you to lay individual sheets of music paper flat. That's not easy to do on most uprights, but Yamaha thoughtfully altered the design of this cabinet to accommodate a grand style music desk, which is what we have here. For store, if you want to close up the piano, it can close up like that and it snaps in place. The music goes here, your papers go here, and if you need to write notes onto your music as you're learning it, you can do so easily and without it flopping around on you. And then, perhaps most advantageously, when this is open, it opens up sound vents on either side. Sound escapes through either side of the opening here from behind the music desk, because behind this there are screens of like a mesh. Prevents dust from getting in but allows sound to come out. So it's more of a premium upright piano that was designed for those who wanted a more attractive piece of furniture but also wanted to get closer to the experience of a grand piano. And so if that's your situation, if you wish you could have a grand piano but must have an upright due to space constraints, I would strongly encourage you to consider this piano. Definitely a favorite of piano teachers, especially if they themselves don't have the room for a grand. They'll be teaching on a piano just like this. And anyone who's used to a grand but has to have an upright at the moment. This piano, I would say, I would call the tone a 5 on the scale from 1 to 10. It can sound bright if you play more loudly, but then playing more softly, you get a more of a warmer, delicate sound. On a scale from 1 to 10, calling it a 5 is a neutral rating from mellow to bright. This is kind of right in between all of it. With every Yamaha, at least in my opinion, you get a clear sound, and that's just the way Yamaha designs their pianos, the way the strings are arranged. I think that's what teachers like it for their students. They want their students practicing on a piano that gives them a clear picture of what they sound like so that they can improve. But the clear sound isn't necessarily tied to brightness. And then I've encountered many Yamahas that are mellow that also have the characteristic clear Yamaha sound. This one's right in the middle, so we'll call it a 5 on a scale from 1 to 10. The touch, I think, is just a little bit on the light side. It feels very smooth and subtle, and it's been thoroughly regulated here in our shop. But there's a little bit less than the average amount of resistance in the keys. So if you've been asked by a piano teacher specifically to look for a firm touch piano, I'm afraid this may not be to your liking. Incidentally, pianos by Kawai and Boston and Steinway tend to have, in my opinion, more of a firm touch. Yamaha was never known for such a harder touch as those other brands of piano, in my opinion. But if that's not a requirement, I think you'll be quite happy with the way this piano plays. And I felt very comfortable playing it myself. I grew up with a Yamaha, acquired here at Rick Jones Pianos, of course, and it had a slightly light touch that was still very subtle and controllable. And well, that's the results we get when we work on a Yamaha, do the thorough regulation, taking this wooden engine out, it's called the action, making all the hammers activate and at just the right time, all the tiny little parts for each note times 88. It's thousands of parts you're looking at in an upright piano action regulation that need to be adjusted, or at least need to be checked if they need to be adjusted. And that's the type of work we do here to ensure that these pianos play evenly and without any surprises. And that's why teachers regularly recommend that their students come here. And well, this piano is just like that. It's smooth and responsive touch, but not too hard. So I'll call it a 4 on a scale from 1 to 10, from light to firm. It does also have a middle pedal practice mute, like most Yamaha full-size uprights have. You can press it down, move it over to the left. It will put a strip of felt in between the hammers and the strings, so it quiets it down. The hammers don't strike the strings directly, they strike them indirectly. So instead of that sound, when you need it to be quiet, it sounds like this. So especially good for any dwellings with shared walls with neighbors like row homes or apartments. So rest assured, it works on this piano and it works on all 88 notes. So please stop by, try this out for yourself. You can play this along with anything else in our inventory, but if you can't make it, you can always give us a phone call or send us an email if you have any questions. Thanks.